Everybody hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, I was like, oh yeah, we have to call this meeting to order. I'm gonna go ahead. It's 6 o'clock, right? We have enough people? What, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we're good. Okay, good evening. I'd like to call this special business meeting of the Newburyport School Committee to order. It's April 11th. Mrs. Yell, can you take the roll, please?
Mayor Sean Reardon,
Here.
Sarah Hall,
Here.
Andrew Boger is
You're
muted.
muted.
Brian Callahan,
Here.
Brianna Higgins,
Here.
2 to 6.
Kathleen Shaw,
Here.
Juliet Walker. She's gonna be absent.
She's not going to be here.
Okay,
She's absent.
and Andrew Boger, you're here.
Yes, here. Thank you. Sorry.
I want to thank Superintendent Gallagher for being in disguise for this meeting.
Andy and I are following each other wherever he's going. I'm following.
Wherever you guys are, I hope you're having fun. All right. All right, so we're here to discuss the transportation contract. I don't know, Vice Chair Hall, I don't know if you guys have planned this meeting, so I will turn it over to you if you've got a thing you want to do. Otherwise, we can go right to Phil and hear about the bids, but I'll pass it over to Vice Chair Hall.
Sure.
Okay.
And really all I'm going to do is pass it over to Phil, who gave us an update in FinCom this morning. And so he's going to recap that for everyone. And then when he's done with that, I am prepared with a motion. So take it away, Mr. Littlehale. You got to unmute yourself, though.
Sorry about that. All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So we put the RFP out. We had 7 companies that requested a copy of it. All right, so are we back recording?
Yes.
All good?
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, so again, in your package was the financial results of the bids. This went out as a 3-year contract with 2 possible 1-year extensions, and that extensions are at the school district's option. So the bid results are based on the overall cost of the 3-year contract. And as you can see, overall, Coach Company is the lower bidder by approximately $450,000 over the 3 years of the contract, or about $150,000 a year, and overall about 15% lower per year. Their cost for fiscal year 25, equivalent to what we're paying for fiscal year 24, and then they go up about, and I think on the sheet you'll see a 1.5 or 2.5% over the next 2 years. So, having done that due diligence, I was surprised to get 2 bids. Coach has a long history of providing bus services. At one point in time, one of their companies actually did Newburyport about 30 or 35 years ago. And just to put it in perspective, Steve Gadd, who was the president of Salter until he sold out to Beacon 3 years ago, is the brother-in-law of the president of the Coach Company. So it's a family that's been in the transportation business for a long time. So it is my recommendation that the school committee award the contract to Coach Company for a period of 3 years with the 2 1-year option or extension years.
Can I ask Sean what he thinks of all this? I mean, I couldn't believe that Phil just said that we've actually had a different bus company before, because I just could never remember anything but Salter my whole lifetime for sure. But so I'm glad the due diligence has been done. I kind of just wanted to see what Sean's thoughts are. I mean, the savings is significant, so I think it's great. I mean, this is the first time in a long time we've had 2 bidders for the transportation contract.
Yeah, I agree, Mayor. This is to have the 2 and then to work and dig a little bit more deeper with Coach. Phil and Paul Szymanski also, he's working on this bid. So he knows a lot of the transportation people, but it seems like Coach has been expanding. They've done colleges, Merrimack College, they do Governor, but they're coming back into the school side. They also have some schools up in New Hampshire. But the other piece is there's a lot of people in Coach that are familiar with Newburyport and have, left Salter and kind of have gone over to Coach. So as I said, Phil spent a lot of time. We did a lot of work on the bid, and I think we're very comfortable. We reached out to the school districts along with other people have contracted with Coach, and we've received nothing but just real positive feedback. They're responsible. Yeah. So I'm comfortable. And as we had legal look at everything, along with Phil and Paul, and I think we're at a point that we're comfortable. And as you said, Mayor, it's the first time in a long time that we got 2 bids, and Coach is a local, Southern New Hampshire and Northern Massachusetts company. So
That's great.
Phil, could you share with everyone the exciting news about the accessible bus?
The question had been raised by a member of the community about the possibility of having a full-size school bus with the wheelchair. And as I think I mentioned before, those are extremely expensive and not many bus companies have them. In our discussions with Coach, the solution they've come up with is if we need to have a wheelchair accessible bus for field trips or school activities or something like that, not regular day transportation, but for the field trips and things like that, that they will use one of their big white motor coaches that does have a chairlift, so you can put the entire class on one bus.
Oh, that's great.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Are there any questions for Phil before we go to the motion? I'll still give opportunity for discussion, so. Right. So I move to award the student transportation contract to Coach Company for the term of 3 years with the possibility of 2 one-year extensions. And this is in accordance with policy DJE.
Second.
And I just recommend that and I should have said this to Joanne earlier, it's for fiscal years 25, 26, and 27.
Okay, so Joanne, if you can just add that into the motion.
Yep.
I just need a second.
Second.
All,
We'll give that to the mayor. Discussion. Anyone? Questions, comments?
Yeah,
No.
I just have one.
Michelle?
Phil,
Yeah.
do they feel confident that they will be able to get enough bus drivers that are familiar with the route, et cetera?
Yes, in fact, along those lines, the gentleman who's going to be the primary point person on this contract with us actually worked for Salt for 5.5 years. He's a local resident here. Has driven all of the routes here in Newburyport. He's done a lot of dispatching. So in terms of covering that, yes. And they have to get the drivers, and they've been in the transportation business for a long time. So they will have the drivers.
Thanks. Any other questions or comments? Okay, Ms. Yell, I think we're ready for this will be a roll call vote because we're on Zoom. That's the procedure.
Mayor Sean Reardon,
Yes.
Sarah Hall,
Yes.
Andrew Boger. Shake his head.
He's muted, but
Yes. Brian Callahan.
yes. Yes.
Brianna Higgins,
Yes.
Kathleen Shaw,
Yes.
and Juliet Walker is absent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6,
All
yeah.
right. Motion passes.
Right.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Can I get a second?
Sorry.
Second,
All right, Ms. Yell, can you do a roll call, please?
Mayor Sean Reardon,
Yes.
Sarah Hall,
Yes.
Andrew Boger,
Yes.
Brian Callahan,
Yes.
Brianna Higgins,
Yes.
Kathleen Shaw,
yes.
and Juliet Walker is absent.
All right, we're adjourned.
All right,
Good job.
everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Take care.
Yes.
Good night.
Good job.